Hey everyone, it's Shelby. Welcome back to my channel and this week's meal plan. For Monday's dinner, I'm going to cook a pan-seared salmon, and I'm going to do it in a preparation that is one of my favorites. Whenever we go out to eat on date night, a lot of times I'll get this for dinner from the Hawkeye Grill. They make it with a maple syrup gastrique, which kind of sounds fancy, but it's just real maple syrup and apple cider vinegar in equal parts that you cook down for about 10 minutes. Super simple to make. You just need to be careful that you don't overcook it to the point that it goes to like a candy stage where it's a hard, crackly candy. But you just reduce it, in a pan for maybe 10 minutes. And then it makes a nice little sauce. The other thing they do to make the salmon so unique is they brush the salmon with maple syrup once it's done, and then they put it under the broiler, and it makes that little crispy, almost like a creme brulee topping. It is so good. And then I'm just going to serve it with green veggies.
When Ken and I go out on date night to Hawkeye Grill, one of my favorite things on the menu is their pan-seared salmon with a maple syrup gastrique. And all that is half maple syrup, half apple cider vinegar reduced, and it makes a really nice little sauce. What I did for dinner tonight is I pan-fried the salmon in butter, seasoned it with salt and pepper, and when it was finished, I brushed maple syrup on the top. And I used my little creme brulee torch to kind of crisp it up. They do that at the Hawkeye. So it's kind of like, how when you break the crust on a creme brulee, it's really kind of crusty. It's like that on here. And it's so wonderful as far as the texture. If you don't have a creme brulee torch, you could just put it under the broiler, but just watch it really careful. We're serving it with triple veggies. And I'm super excited to try this tonight because I hope I can get it as good as the Hawkeye Grill. I'm cooking some salmon in a little bit of butter, salt, and pepper. And I'm going to make a maple syrup gastrique. So good. To the saucepan, I added a half a cup of maple syrup and a half a cup of apple cider vinegar. And I'm just going to let this reduce and it'll turn into magic. It can smell a little strong when it's cooking, but as the vinegar cooks off, that'll go away. I'm also cooking some green beans, broccolini, and asparagus. We're just going to have triple veg tonight. The salmon is cooked, and then what I'm going to do is take some maple syrup, real maple syrup, and brush it on the top. And then you can either put it under the broiler, or you could use a creme brulee torch if you have one. I'm going to use this little creme brulee torch and just caramelize the sugar on the top of it. And it's so neat, the texture when you cut into the salmon. It's like a creme brulee. It's kind of just that little layer of crispness. They do it so well at the Hawkeye Grill. To plate it, I'm just going to take a spoonful. And they always drizzle it around the outside of the plate a couple of times. So that's what I'm going to do. So there it is. Pan-seared salmon with a maple syrup gastrique, triple veggies.
Tuesday, I'm going to cook up those pork chops that I bought last week. They looked so good. And I'm going to make a pan sauce. A real simple pan sauce. When you cook meat in a frying pan and it has those little bits and pieces on the bottom of the pan, that's the basis for the pan sauce. It's a cider Dijon pan sauce, and it goes so well with the pork chops. For dinner tonight, we're making pan-seared pork chops with a pan sauce. It has Dijon mustard and sweet apple cider. It's going to be good. And the best part is, it'll make it easier to clean up the pan when you're done. We're going to have it with some new potatoes that we're going to mash and some broccoli. I have a pan that I've been heating up over medium heat. I'm just going to drizzle in maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons of olive oil.
I'm going to start cooking the pork chops a couple at a time so I'm not crowding the pan. I have them seasoned with salt and pepper. The really cool thing about pan frying is the meat will tell you when to turn it. Like if you try to turn it and it's stuck to the pan, it's not ready to turn. So that's when you know to turn it. All right, see how it just loosened right up? It's not stuck to the pan at all. That's when you turn it. We'll get the other side cooked. Be back in a minute. I'm just making sure that the fat on the side of the pork chop gets a good sear on it. Now that I have the pork chops fried up, I'm going to put a shallot and 1 clove of garlic into that little bit of oil that we have in the pan. Just going to cook this for a couple of minutes. I was cooking the pork chops on medium-high. I've turned the pan down on low when I added the shallots. I want to season it with some salt and pepper. Cooking this for a few minutes. I want the shallots to become really soft. Been a few minutes. The next thing I'm going to do is add about a tablespoon of a Dijon mustard and about 1.25 cups of apple cider. If you don't have apple cider, you could use apple juice. I'm going to use a whisk, and what I want to do is I want to scrape up all the bits and pieces from the bottom of the pan because there's so much flavor there. I turned the heat up to medium, and you can see that all the bits and pieces are up off the bottom of the pan. It's going to be easy to clean. And on medium heat, I'm just going to cook this until we reduce the volume by half. All right, this is reduced by half. It's the consistency that I want. I'm going to turn off the heat and get this dinner plated up. We have a scoop of potatoes, the pork chops, and broccoli. I'm going to take some of that pan sauce that we made and just drizzle it right over the pork chops, and dinner is served. If you want, you can garnish with a little bit of parsley, give it a little color. Look how easy it's going to be to clean out that pan now. That's the best part. So that's what it looks like. Pan seared pork chops with a pan Dijon mustard apple cider sauce, mashed potatoes, and some broccoli. Dinner took like not even a half an hour to put together.
Wednesday, we're going to eat out. It's date night / my son's birthday. So we have a whole crew that's going to go out to dinner, and I caught bits and pieces. They were acting kind of crazy, but I filmed some of the people's dinner so you could see the variety that we had. It was a really fun night out.
So the first course is Bubble and Squeak. We have England for our international night tonight. And the second course is a lamb stew. For dinner tonight, I'm having my usual salmon with the double veggies.
And I'm having prime rib, my usual.
I'm having what they call a Snake River double cut pork chop.
Thursday, I took some chicken cutlets, coated them with pesto and some panko breadcrumbs, seared them off in the pan, and made a wonderful mushroom cream sauce. It was really, really, really delicious. Super easy too.
For dinner tonight, I'm going to make a pesto panko chicken cutlet. And it's a really super easy dinner. Has some roasted potatoes, simple salad, and I'm going to make a creamy mushroom sauce to go on top. Tonight, I'm going to make a really super easy dinner. I have some new potatoes that I quartered, and I'm just going to drizzle some olive oil on the top. Season them with salt and pepper. We're going to roast them off in the oven, but I'm going to use this sheet pan to cook the rest of the dinner. I told you it's going to be so easy. I have some chicken cutlets. I took some store-bought pesto and smeared some of it onto the chicken cutlet. And I'm just going to take it and bread it with some breadcrumbs. And then I'm going to coat this side with some pesto and flip the chicken over. I added pesto to the top side of the chicken. Just flip it and coat it with the panko. How easy is that? We're going to get it right onto our sheet tray. I finished coating the other chicken cutlets. I'm putting the whole sheet pan in the oven at 400, and we're just going to cook it all together. I'm going to make a quick sauce to go over the chicken when it comes out of the oven. I just have 8 ounces of mushrooms that I'm cooking in 2 tablespoons of butter. I seasoned with a little salt and pepper, and I'm just going to cook these for a few minutes, and then I'm going to add a cup total and just let this simmer and reduce and get a little bit thicker. The sauce has reduced and it's thick, so I'm going to turn off the heat and get this dinner plated. So simple. I'm going to make a simple dressing, and I'm just going to use mainly lemon and olive oil, salt and pepper. But first I'm going to get the zest off the lemon. Okay, add salt and pepper to taste. The juice of the lemon. Add some olive oil. Usually the ratio is 3 oil to 1 lemon juice. I'm also going to add like a half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and when you shake it, it's going to help emulsify the dressing. Now give it a good shake. See how the mustard made it a kind of a creamy lemon vinaigrette? We're going to get this dinner plated. I just have a real simple salad. I grew the tomatoes on my windowsill. How cool is that? We're just going to put some of that vinaigrette on the salads. All right, so we just have the potatoes and the chicken, and I'm just going to take a spoonful of that mushroom sauce and drizzle it onto the chicken. And that's what we're having for dinner. Super easy.
Friday is our family celebration with our son for his birthday. He wanted pork Kalua. It's a slow cooker recipe. I haven't made it in a long time. And I'm making macaroni salad and a fresh fruit salad for sides. And he also wanted a Texas sheet cake. I have a video on Texas sheet cake, the macaroni salad, and the pork Kalua. I'll link those in the description box below. I know I'll have a lot of pork left over, so I'll definitely be recycling it into another meal.
Today's my son's birthday, and he wanted Kalua pork with a fruit salad and a carrot macaroni salad. So that's what we're having for dinner. I have a pork butt that I took out of the freezer. I had paid 99 cents a pound. This whole thing was like 11 bucks. I'm going to get it into the crock pot. I went ahead and I put the roast in the crock pot. I'm going to generously season with some pink Himalayan salt. It's a big piece of meat, so and then I'm going to add a tablespoon of liquid smoke. I haven't made the crock pot slow cooker Kalua pork in a long time, and I think it'll be really good. Let me get the top on this. We're just going to let it cook. on high for like 6 hours. That's it. I made a fruit salad. I had some berries in the fridge, blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries. I had just a little bit of grapes. I opened a can of chunk pineapple and about 4 of the little Halo Cuties and made a nice tropical looking fruit salad. My oldest son is making a Texas sheet cake, and they call it that because it's a whole sheet cake. And it's a good recipe. I have a cook with me video on this. I will link it in the description box. Totally yummy. Here's what the Texas sheet cake looks like. The cake is really thin, and then you have the frosting. And 2 of my boys this year, this is the cake they wanted for their birthday. It's a really great recipe. We're plating the birthday boys' dinner. Some of that Kalua pork. And the carrot and macaroni salad, fruit salad. Looks delicious. Do you want any sauce on your meat? Some of this. I have a pineapple salsa from Trader Joe's. We're going to put just a little bit on top. And that's what we're having for dinner.
Saturday, I'm going to make sheet tray chicken fajitas. So simple and delicious. It always saves us so much money because it's so expensive when you go to the restaurant and get fajitas. Don't you guys think that? To slice the onions, I just cut them in half and then I do them this way. And that'll give you the really nice half moons for the fajitas. I cut up some bell peppers and 2 onions. Then you just sprinkle it with a little bit of olive oil. Season with salt, black pepper, and some garlic powder. We're going to get these into a 400-degree oven. On another sheet pan, I've taken some boneless, skinless chicken breasts, cut them into strips, and then drizzled them with a little bit of olive oil and seasoned them with fajita seasoning. You could use the packet, you could make your own. I used salt, pepper, garlic powder, cumin, a little bit of paprika, and some New Mexico chili powder, but simple. They both go into the oven. So both pans go right into the 400-degree oven. They'll cook side by side. Super simple. When it comes out of the oven, the onions and the peppers are cooked and the chicken is cooked. So what I usually do is I just set up a little area where they can put together either salads or use the tortillas and make little tacos. But I have lettuce, tomato, guacamole, sour cream, and shredded cheese. So everyone's happy. They can have a bowl or they can have the tacos. I'm just having a chicken fajita salad with guacamole and sour cream. The boys are having the tortillas, and Ken I think is too. So for Sunday, I'm going to use up that leftover pork, and I'm going to use half of it for barbecue sandwiches. The other half, I'm going to season it for pork carnita tacos, and that'll help me use up the guacamole that I had from the dinner from the night before, as well as the pork. So some of the boys want barbecue sandwiches, some want carnita tacos. It's all good. It's a smorgasbord. But the leftovers get used up and I squeezed out another meal from them. I took all the leftover pork from the Kalua Pork. I have it on a sheet tray. I have half of it with some barbecue sauce. The other half I seasoned with about a half a cup of freshly squeezed orange juice, salt, pepper, garlic powder, cumin, and about a fourth a cup of sweetened condensed milk. And we're going to make it into like a quick carnita style meat. To make the barbecue sandwiches, I've spread some butter on a hoagie roll. I'm going to turn it upside down and put it in the frying pan and toast it up like a grilled cheese sandwich. To serve up the barbecues, just take that toasted roll and then place some of that pork meat that has the barbecue sauce on it. And then I made a very simple coleslaw. I have a recipe how to make coleslaw. I'll link it below. Just top it with a couple spoonfuls of that. And that's our barbecue sandwich. Here's what that carnita meat looks like. It's really crispy on the outside. The boys can either have carnitas tacos, we have leftover lettuce, tomato, sour cream, shredded cheese, guacamole, or they can make themselves a bowl and forgo the tortillas. So either way, they're going to be happy today. As far as our grocery haul, I tried to use what I had on hand this week in the freezer and in the vegetable bin, and all I really picked up was a little bit of produce and some milk. That's our meal plan for this week. I hope you guys have a great Monday, happy meal planning, and have a very productive and fantastic week. And until the next video, I'll talk to you guys later.